My best bet, pizza serve. My best bet, pizza
Yeah,
serve.
best that I can do. Yeah,
Tell you.
yeah.
It's tiny laughs, designing in your face. It's tiny laughs, designing in your face. Don't know what to design today, but there's just one thing I know for sure. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Designing Last. I'm your host, Devin, and man, I'm so thankful and grateful for yet not only another year, but another episode filled with hopefully some knowledge that you all can not only use, but you value. And today I want to show you that more than I want to explain that because today's episode is just that simple. Me valuing you and you valuing I. Today's episode is all about us. Building Deft from scratch and what's today's challenges are and how that applies to you and I. So let's unpack that. Today's episode of the podcast because I think that's something that's has not only a lot of room for discussion, but it also has a lot of room for learning, has a lot of room for growth, and has a lot of room for just understanding what is really going on more than just the surface level or what was really going on at the time. Don't get me wrong, you always want to be present at what's going on during the time when you see something or you're involved with something. But sometimes you need to step away, come back to it, and talk more about it later because sometimes you don't have all the information you need right there at the time. And sometimes that can change everything right there. Here at Def, we practice that on a regular basis. Mindfulness is a great example of that. You know, you can really get wrapped up into whatever you're creating or whatever your dreams or your hopes and desires are, and sometimes you don't realize of sometimes there's some aspects of it that might not be the most realistic or might not be attainable at the moment for whatever reasons it may be. And that doesn't mean that it's a total failure or that it means that what you were doing didn't make no sense or how dare you even think of something like that. No, that just means you were thinking and you exhausted all the thoughts that you could within that thought process of that in particular idea, and you took it as far as you can, but you run into a place where you've realized it's not taking you to where you need to go, and sometimes you have to just simply pump the brakes. We got to pivot and Euro step. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just have to do that, and I can attest to that. Uh, Here at Def, plenty of times where we had things lined up for not only like just releases or just ideas that we want to do. It just wasn't the time, or it didn't work out how we planned it to with maybe a guest or so many other things. I'm not gonna go down all the lines of different ones because you know uh, that's not important. It's not relevant. There is still some time that maybe some of the things you might still actually see in the future. And when we do see show that, hopefully it'll be at the right time that you all will not only enjoy it, but you won't hesitate to share and run up the numbers, you know what I'm saying, as far as the engagement goes, because we don't put our content for attention. We really don't care about being famous or none of that kind of stuff. Like, if we want to do that, we could just be doing clickbait like a lot of other content creators do, or they are. And not to say that other content creators are, only doing this for money or all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying you can definitely notice the difference between someone who is genuine, passionate about what they do, and regardless of the outcome of monetary get value, what they get out of it, they still continue to be themselves and continue to keep learning and practicing what they preach. That is a telltale sign of a green flag, if you will, to someone who is genuine and authentic as far as their positioning where they are within their industry or their career or what they're creating that's never been done before, because there's a lot of that kind of going on as well. And we salute those who are doing that with integrity. You know, we want to work with only those who really who want to work. And because of that, like, sometimes we might scare away some people. They might say, "Oh, it's a little intimidating. He works too hard," or "I don't see where I can fit in this place because you already seem to have everything you need." And trust me, if I had everything I need, you probably wouldn't even see me at all. No, seriously. Because of like just the nature of what we do, we understand that this ain't for everybody, and everything ain't for everybody, but yet we do our best to make this intentionally for everybody who wants to be a part of this. Key words, everybody who wants. Because if you want to, you'll show up and you'll continue to keep showing up. And we thank those who do. So I gotta go ahead and slow down a little bit and just say, I want to show some appreciation to y'all, man. Like, first and foremost, always, every day, Deaf Circle. What's up, y'all? Hope y'all are enjoying the laid backness of the winter season and, just enjoying all the fruits of your labor. And I hope that the Deaf Circle continues to grow where it needs to. And because of that, I also got to say, man, shout out to everybody on the Patreon, man. Like, y'all keep the lights going on. And as you can see, y'all keep me fed because I stay hungry. It's no secret. Hey, man, I like to eat and I need to eat more. So, hey, thank you for being a collaborator in the whole ecosystem of death and what we're doing here. We ain't trying to do nothing. We ain't promising nothing. We just doing it. And hopefully you see that you're doing it well. But that's for you to decide. So, everybody who's been on our Patreon, I'm not gonna name them their names off by name, but I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you personally. And today's episode, you know what? I'm going to create a design challenge special for you particularly, because you are not the backbone, but you are a critical part of the ecosystem here at Deft when it comes down to the community that we're building and that the community that has an impact uh, on the industry. So, uh, and the industry I'm talking about, just to clarify, is the creative industry as a whole. Like whether you're a graphic designer, whether you're an illustrator, photographer, copywriter, whether you're a fashion designer, whether you're into music, poetry, uh, man, graffiti artist, painter, uh, just the list goes on and on. And these are not me just naming all things that I like. No, these are things that are pillars in the creative community that are often looked at as the lower level because of the fact of the creative industry, I hate to say it, gets the short end of the stick, but yet we're always the one that everybody wants to come looking for because we're the ones who push the culture forward and really make people emotionally connected to whatever it is going on, whether it be an event or a product. And I think that's what makes not only the Deaf Circle and our Patreon community so unique, it's that our community comes from so many different backgrounds and on so many different levels of their career path, both professionally or inspirationally, because some people are very early in the stages, whether they're just starting off their startup brand or they're been doing services in like maybe nonprofit organizations, for example, for many years, but yet they've yet to go to a level that is in the public's eye um, bigger than just having a website and saying donate. Really, really, actually, you know, touching the people and having an impact that
It's fire. Like, it's really, really good.
I've been waiting so long, you don't know, coming from a place, broken home, close your mouth, move it along, look elsewhere, cover south, don't go, not like that, take 'em back, 86, catch up, food biz taught me that, if you wanna eat good, stay off the hood, focus strong, I've been waiting so long, you don't know. I've been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long. I've been waiting so I've been waiting so long, you don't know, coming from empty head, sick living, paint thin, filled with lead, not seen yet misled, youth is true, so I play, give them hope, don't choke, just smile, tell them no, if they wonder, feeds my hunger, can't wait no further, I've been waiting so long, you don't know, coming from. I've been waiting so long. I've been waiting so long. I've been waiting so
Man, I got your message loud and clear, bro. What are those you're wearing, though? Come on, man. Can't have you out here looking like that, bro. Seriously, like, what are you wearing? Don't even worry about it. I'm glad you came to the merchandise shop. Don't even answer that question. Hey, by the way, what size do you wear? Okay. Well, hey, in order to be part of this crew, man, like, you gotta be a man of multiple different hats. Not everybody can wear these. Well, I guess you can. I lied. Anybody can wear it. Literally. Especially if you just go onto our website. Our website. That's, man, I ain't gonna spell it out for you. It's down below.
Creates a movement, like how death is, you know what I'm saying? This ain't momentum, or this ain't, something, to just do because we have some free time. No, this is a purpose driven, So I don't want to keep on blabbing on and on about how important and thankful I am about the Patreon. You're going to just see. So I think at this time, let's go ahead and talk more about this thank you card. Coming up on today's episode of the podcast, y'all, I'm going to start off today's episode with, a design challenge, how we love to do over here. However, we try to break it up so that, it's not too often that we do it, because we don't ever want y'all to take this as if, oh yeah, that's just what he does. Like, yeah, I am quick at what I do, but that doesn't devalue or make it any less because I did it fast, or because I did it my way, or did it in a way that is unconventional, or whatever the case may be. And that's what makes you deaf, and that's what makes me deaf. So to bring that all full circle, I just want to say, hey man, let's get started breaking down what would you want to see in a thank you card. Leave it down in the comments. I'm going to create something today based off of, whatever comes up to my mind. And this is not going to be the final design. I'm letting you know that now. This is, like always, part of our process of designing here at Deft. We don't focus on the polished product. It's the process. And sometimes it's a little messy. Sometimes it's a little jumpy as far as you go from one place to another, because you don't always do a smooth straight line to get to where you're going. But nevertheless, we always still follow the same principles and just do the same things so we can get the most accurate results that are consistent with what we wanted to get when it comes down to design or strategy or anything. And if you don't already know, just go watch our design process video to find out more about how we do that. Like every project is a little bit different, and sometimes the circumstances of what's going on as far as the deadlines change that as well. So sometimes, you might have to adapt, and maybe your research, even though it's still done first, how we always do it, maybe we're not spending as much time, or because we just don't have it. But please believe, experience right in there makes a difference, and it will show, guaranteed, right there, if the designer or artist knows what they say they know or not. Because if project doesn't come out how the expectations were set to meet, it usually falls back on the beginning. What you didn't do in the beginning comes back later on in the end to be like, dang, if I would have took that moment to realize that, I would have avoided so much back and forth and the project would have been saved or it would have been a success, quote unquote, depending on your definition of what success is. So I'm saying that to say that I think we have to be mindful that everybody's definition of some of the terms we use here, you know, is different and it's always subjective. And that's just the reality of what it is when it comes down to art and being creative. It doesn't matter as much about, well, it does matter about the person because the person is the vehicle creating it. However, though, what's being said and how it's being said is just as important as it is the person who's actually creating. I'll say that. So let's go ahead and let's jump right on Yeah, yeah. So, man, that was a challenge. I haven't done that in a while, and I'm thankful that you guys stick around for the whole episode to, you know, see and witness that in real time. You know, we really are creating and building from scratch over here. So, thank you for not only that, therapeutic session, as if you will, but just that connection that we're building here. I just want to take the time to say, man, it's appreciated, and not only is it valued and appreciated, but it means something. You know, that is what Deft was created for in the first place, is building connection between not customers or clients, no, between the industry and the people who make up the industry. Like there's definitely a disconnect that I feel is long overdue when it comes down to, you know, building that rapport amongst clients, creatives in the industry in a setting that is opening for not just one-sided conversation or just, you know, this is what I say, so this is what it is. No, we all have something to contribute, and we all are learning at the same time as sharing and experiencing. And that's what makes an industry, bubbling, and makes an industry that is on a rise, as opposed to it being something that, is here today and, you know, uh, only for the few or anything like that. Like, no, we're here to break barriers. We're here to challenge the normal thinking. We're here to challenge ourselves and our abilities from what we've done in the past to new things, and changing how we view not only design, not only creativity or storytelling or anything else that you see in creative atmosphere. No, we really, most importantly, want to build that connection when it comes down to the loop of communication, because that's what, at the end of the day, we are. We are communicators. You know, we do that visually, and that is where I feel like today's challenge is. Here at Def, we have an issue with building not only a connection, but building that communication loop that is unbreakable between our target audience and the viewers. Like, we want to change that narrative, and we want to reach them, and we need your help. Like, we make a lot of progress. So we've made a lot of progress when it comes down to, you know, continuing to progress and change, and, you know, fix things and change things, pivot here and pivot there, and work on things behind closed doors when nobody else is um, around, because we know that there's much more work to do. And we ain't shying away from it, because the work is important to not only us, but we see this important to others as well. So it reinforces how important death really is and why it exists. And I can't express enough how grateful I am to know that I am on a path to how far can death go? What boundaries are there that others want to see more of when it comes down to what death can do? We want to know. Leave it down in the comments, and we'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can. Like, seriously, like, ASAP. Like, urgency is important, y'all. You know, tomorrow is not promised. Today is not even promised. Hell, we don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. But one thing's for sure, if you stay engaged, stay creative, you're already deaf. So that's deaf, meaning you got everything you need. All you gotta do is join the fun. And you come to the place where fun, storytelling, creativity lives and thrives. And hopefully you're here for the ride. Hey, I'm going to close out today's episode by just giving you guys a short little announcement to let you all know that for this year, for Deft, man, we have so many things on the horizon that I am beyond ecstatic for, but others are as well. And hopefully you're going to see some of that going forward and maybe some of our social media content or maybe on other people's other platform. But however you see it, just know it was all created with you in mind because you're deaf. And with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and say that, man, the web series Sketchy Success is a prime example of everything that we've been talking about, not only throughout the podcast, not only today or in the past, but it's a prime example of something that in real time that's being designed and being something that you can engage in real time. So you really know this is not art imitating life. This is real, like tangible. You can take it home with you. You can share with your family and your friends because you are reflected in the work itself. And guess what? You're not behind. I'm not going to say you're early, but you're not behind. And we won't leave you behind. So I'm going to go ahead and just say, hey, if you haven't already been watching, go ahead and watch today. Because once the series is over with, man, it's over with. And we don't know if it's going to come back. We don't know if there's going to be a season two. We don't know if there's going to be additional people added on. If we are, there's so many things that are left uncertain. And you have the power to change that, though. Simple. All you got to do is be involved, say what you like, comment what you don't like. All that matters. So when you do so and you share with your family and friends and you know what, anybody else, like it tells us where we belong and what path we're going down. Like uh and it shows that the community is not just something that smoking guns or smoking mirrors as they say. Like, no, the community really stands up for those who stand up for it. And because of that, man, it builds us up and makes us stronger, knowing that we have supporters, knowing that we have, you know, um, the attention in a positive manner that can lead to potentially changing things that no one saw coming. And that is, at the end of the day, death. So I'm just going to say that if you haven't already been watching, like I said already, go watch the web series, original web series by Deft, Sketchy Success on YouTube. Our Patreon members have already been watched the series and they're still watching, other behind the scene content that's going to be living on only there. But if you really want to know the story, you still have time to be able to see it before it's fine, before it finishes evolving as far as the story being completed, because there's still two more episodes. I'm gonna go ahead and spill the beans and let you know there's two more episodes still left before it wraps up. So you can't say I didn't tell you enough about it, or I haven't expressed, how important it is to get involved, because I have. So hey, until then, all I can say is, man, like Sketchy Success literally lives on to another day. I and also too, like when it comes down to Death Friday, as far as an announcement goes going forward, we want to know, how do you all feel about it? I mean, we know that we get something out of it, but we don't want to do a bunch of content that only works for us. We want to make content, like I said, for you and us. And we're doing our best to be able to find that sweet balance. Now it's just a matter of hearing from you so that we know, reinforcing that we're doing what we say we're going to do, and we're holding you accountable for saying you wanted to see this, so this is the reason why, you know, you're seeing what you're seeing. Um, and it's a collaborative effort because your thoughts and input really do make up the content, and it doesn't go unseen. Excuse me. I think also I want to let you guys know that, like I said, about the Death Friday, because how impactful it can be mentally when it comes to therapy, just creating and getting your thoughts out. I think that maybe we should turn it into a podcast of its own and maybe reformat it so it's not so much just me drawing and talking, but I want to hear from you all. Do you want to see more of Death Friday? Do you want to see it on YouTube, or do you want to keep it exclusively on Patreon? We have had an episode on YouTube in the past, and we don't know how you all feel about it. So this is your chance to do so. Let us know. Until then, man, I'm gonna go ahead and sign on off today for today's episode of the podcast of Designing Last. Hey man, hopefully you are not only enjoying your new year, but not only that, you're enjoying where you are mentally, physically, and spiritually in your journey of being deaf. So until next time, stay creative, stay engaged, stay deaf. I'm Devin with another episode of Designing Last. Peace. Oh, Also, don't forget, on Patreon, y'all, exclusively, new episodes of Cook This. Also, behind the scenes of Designer Labs and more exclusive just Deft content that you're only going to see only on Patreon. And guess what? You're invited.
Design, design,